For pretty much 20 years now, I've lived here and just soaked it up without consciously using it, but it has infused the work. I left my colleagues and my relationship with the University of Washington and, Artist Trust, a lot of things that were kind of critical to me growing up as an artist. And then coming here, my hope was that I would have solitude and isolation and time to work alone without assistance. And I have found that here. I feel like my interest in my work has kind of been in two trunks. One has been these big webs of paper that I call ziggurats, and they have leafing and subtle textures, and they're kind of huge in scale. And then another little trickle that's always been part of my work has been with photography and including photographic images onto a page. And then I started working with this Indian village paper. It's made in India. On it, I was able to start to lay the symbols and the textures that marriage together in a way that began working. And that's what has led to what I call the lexicon series. It is ongoing. I love the notion of creating a vocabulary. I don't know where it started and I don't know where it goes, but each time I stand up to begin a new series at the work table, it comes out differently, and I never know what story it's going to tell until I reach the end of the pieces, and then it reveals itself to me, and I kind of go, well, that's what I was thinking all along, and I didn't have a clue. So, finding the materials that married right led to Ghosts, which has this peculiar image in it that's a human form. And I got so excited just working with this little human image moving back and forth that when I moved into the next series, which I call Ovum, it was just natural to add the drawing of the egg. In hindsight, it was like so clear to me. Of course, it's like a feminine thing. I use this kind of pattern. It's mother. It's like, it was so perfect. And of course, the drawing just fits. And then I couldn't wait to erase it. Once it was on there, it was like, then I had to drop it back a little bit. And I'm bold. I mean, in my work, I feel like I'm pretty bold and brave. And why this image and drawing thing became so mysterious, I question, why it was so hard. Every section revealed itself in a different way, and the more I opened it up, the more excited I became to use it in the next lexicon series. Even these little decorations of mildew and mold kind of all put an imprint on it that was speaking of ages past, of education, of history, of language and text. But because it wasn't my language or my text or my volume, my book, I really felt like it was fine to keep going and understanding more how it was put together in these lovely little hand-sewn signatures, this binding on the side that somebody glued and stitched. And as I took it apart, I realized that it was directing me to use all of these different things in this series of work that I'm thinking of. with my folks passing, both of them, going within 18 months of one another, it really rang true just what a structure of strength, faith gives folks. I think laying these pages of this German Norwegian Bible down in the structure behind these pieces kind of got the wheels and my imagination spinning about no matter if we practice or if we just being raised in a culture that has this foundation of belief and faith as the structure, it filters down to all of us on many different levels. But with them, watching them in their final months and days, the strength that they had in that faith was huge. So the beginning of these pieces as kind of the background of the subtext of whatever was to become on them seemed profoundly correct, just fit. When I felt ready, I just approached them with kind of a blank head and no expectations, and this dwelling, this kind of shelter house shape, just seemed like the right thing to be the next layer on them. There's something about that notion of architecture seeming so permanent, but really nothing is that permanent, and we're all just on this process of change.
You taught me the courage of stars before you left, how light carries on endlessly, even after death, with sureness of breath. You explain the infinite, how rare and beautiful it is to even exist. I couldn't help but ask you to say it all again. I tried to write it down, but I could never find a pen. I'd give anything to hear you say it one more time, that the universe was made just to be seen by my eye. And I couldn't help but ask you to say it all again. I tried to write it down, but I could never find a pen. I'd give anything to hear you say it one more time, that the universe was made just to be seen by my eyes. The shortness of breath, I'll explain